Alrighty, this is interview one with patient anonymous. I don't know if he wants to state his name, whatever, don't really care. This is psychedelic questions, part one. This is also a rough draft, I guess,
Is this
but
a video? You know you can do a actual recording on your phone, right?
I don't care. Alright. First question. What does the word psychedelic mean to you?
Visuals, like mirages.
What do you mean by visuals?
You know.
I don't know. Elaborate. What do you mean by visuals?
Well, like you see something, you know, like a mirage. You see something that's not there.
A hallucination.
Hallucination. Hallucinogen. Isn't that what?
Yeah, that's what psychedelics are, in essence.
Yeah.
At least on one half of it. Another question. That's interesting.
Let me answer that with a question.
It's kind of hard to someone that's never actually... What are your thoughts on the fact that psychedelics are a Schedule 1 substance with only a few of them now recently being given breakthrough status by the FDA? Examples being MDMA and psilocybin, which have been granted breakthrough status in terms of treating depression, anxiety. But still, they were placed predominantly in Schedule 1 category. What are your thoughts?
Okay. What was the beginning of the question again?
The fact that psychedelic compounds are listed as a Schedule 1 substance, which means that they have a high potential for abuse, are highly addictive, and have no accepted medical usage. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's pretty broad. I mean, my general thoughts. I mean, I've heard of studies of it allegedly helping patients with depression and other kinds of mental health issues. I haven't done any extensive research on that, so for that topic, I really have no opinion on. As for being Schedule 1, the whole thing has confused me. Because yeah, I mean, something like methamphetamine is supposedly less addictive and less, at least in law terms, it's less addictive, less dangerous than a plant and some and hallucinogen. I don't know. I don't. Still will never understand that.
Why do you think it was that psychedelics were placed into Schedule 1? And what do you think the government's rationale behind that decision was? The act was enacted in 1970. People often associate the 60s with that hippie counterculture.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I think some of it was poor neighborhoods, and it kind of. I remember. I think it affected the African American and Black communities a lot more.
What did?
The whole war on drugs in general, I believe.
That happened a bit more towards the 80s. That was more Reagan's presidency. 1970s, that was Nixon with the Controlled Substances Act, 1970. I kind of get where you're going for it. The government's original plan was to have harsher methods to fight the upcoming narcotic issue. I think that it's pretty common that they falsely misidentified how dangerous these substances are.
Well, I mean, they hype it up. It's like a scare tactic of, it's perceived that way in the public eye for forever, as long as, you trust your government. It's like nuclear power plants. You set a kind of motive or a you have something set for it, like an opinion on it, and then it just doesn't change.
Yeah. So what do you think of the fact now that psychedelic research is being granted breakthrough status by the FDA? Do you think that...
What do you define breakthrough?
As in it's being recognized that it has the potential to do something other than just be highly addictive drug. What do you think that indicates within the current society that organizations are starting to slightly look past their initial rulings back in the 70s and actually give them more
I don't think they're
consideration?
starting to. I think they've, always just done tests on it. I don't think there's, at least from what I've seen, it's just like perpetual. What you see a news article for something and it says this company is doing a breakthrough, studies and whatnot, but they've been doing it for years.
Yeah. Well, how do you think it reflects upon us as a current day society that these studies are getting more and more public attention in the limelight? More research institutions are getting funding for psychedelic research as opposed to even, a decade, 2 decades ago when even trying to place marijuana out of Schedule 1 was just harshly denied by the DEA. What do you think that says about our current day society?
So the opinion is changing then.
Why do you think so?
I mean, there's the cultural effect. I mean, there's movies and, more media platforms kind of allowing an exception of it, or more of an acceptance towards substances like that. Along comes with media perspective on it comes more knowledge on it. There's two ways you can have knowledge on it: is knowledge of how it affects you, and then how it affects you positively and how it affects you negatively.
Yeah.
You can teach someone more about drugs and then tell them all the negative effects, which is the DARE program, where you can hear it from other sources and then teach them about, either positive or just the silly fun effects of it.
Sort of offhand off the topic, but I do remember, at least I want to say I remember there being something about how DARE was proven to be actually ineffective statistically.
They
raising awareness.
Yeah, they caused more, I believe. I don't know how much it is causation in correlation, but I mean, I believe when the DARE program started, I think that the amount of people who began doing the substances that they were telling people about started going on the rise. I mean, when you tell someone not to do something, they're going to want to do it more. It's the whole, I don't remember what country it was, but they had an overabundance of potatoes, and then they had an underabundance of other foods. No one wanted to eat potatoes. It's a boring food. They tell people, don't eat potatoes, and these are government gardens, don't touch it. They're going to go into the gardens and steal the potatoes.
Do you think psychedelics should be allowed in modern day society? What do you think? Well, let me rephrase the question. What do you think? What place do psychedelics have in today's society? Okay. Do you think?
I think there should be some sort of regulation on it, at least. Not like you can go to the store, pick up 500 tabs, and then...
Why not?
I mean... I guess, you can go to the store and buy, there's no limit on how much, vodka you can buy and just drink yourself to death, so...
88,000 deaths a year.
Yeah. And there's no regulation on sugar. All we can do is tax it. So, if anything, it would be more beneficial if we at least taxed.
Similar to what certain dispensary states have, where they have the rights to sell medical marijuana. However, they do tax it, so the state does get a percentage of the income from it, but both parties, it's legal, they can buy it, state gets money, more business. Do you think there should be something similar for psychedelics? Or do you think that they should be different?
Yeah, I'm going to be full-on liberal and say, you know what, release let there be a place you can purchase, psychedelics from, and make sure that it can be regulated to the point like if this is like safe to consume, and then you can tax it. And then with the tax money, you're gonna get quite a bit from that rolling in if you do that with. I mean, if your other definition for psychedelics is also marijuana, and
It is a psychedelic.
Yeah, then they're gonna get a hell of a lot, and then you can get free healthcare.
Wonderful. Out of all psychedelics you may have heard throughout your life, is there one in particular that has your curiosity?
Still LSD, just because of that PS1 game.
LSD Dream Emulator?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is a decent first interview.